First of all, let's see how we can download MySQL. So over here, either you can go to MySQL or you can go here. You can say MySQL download, and it will take you to a page where you can find the MySQL. Okay. So very first thing, which we want to do is that we want to do download the MySQL. Okay. Before that, let's see some of the prerequisite what we are going to do without the MySQL. Okay. So we have seen we have something called as RDBMS. So the RDBMSs are used to store, manage, and manipulate the structured data or the data which is in tables. So it is used to manage, manipulate, and store the structured data right now. So we have seen that it is used to do all these things with the table, right? So now why it is RDBMS? Because everything is in terms of a table, and those tables have all the data stored inside of them, and those tables are going to have a relationship amongst each other. So for example, there could be table 1, and then there could be table 2, for example. Then we will have to define a relationship between these tables. For example, there is a primary key, there is a referential key, lots of things we are going to see, okay, which we had seen yesterday as well. So this is a possibility. Okay. So now let's look at one of the RDBMS solutions. Okay. We have MySQL. MySQL is an RDBMS which uses NSYSQL or SQL language to talk to itself. Okay, to talk to it. Okay, using SQL, we are going to talk to the MySQL using SQL language. Now, before that, the SQL has different things to do. So there are multiple types of languages or multiple type of commands using which we can talk to the MySQL. Okay. So if we talk about the different type of commands, for example, different. Okay. So using MySQL, we have certain type of different commands. First of all, we have DDL. So DDL is data definition language. So using this specific set of commands, we can, oh, sorry, one second, data definition language. Using this, we will define something. We have discussed a few session back as well. There is a possibility that a new data may arrive, a data may get updated. So, okay, we will talk about this later on. So, in the DDL, we have something called as we can create something. If you want to, for example, you are defining something. Okay. So, the very first time you might want to create this table. Yesterday, we had seen that we can create what is a table, what is a column, what is a data type of column. We are going to create a table, create a database, create all the database artifacts using the create command, whether it is a database itself, whether it is a table, a view, a trigger, a constraint, or a relationship. Whatever we want to do, we can use create command to create anything inside of the database. And then we have something called as drop. Let's say I do not want this table anymore in my database. I can use something called as drop DDL command. So the drop DDL command will help me to drop any information or drop anything, any artifact I can say. Okay, I can say that this is a database artifact. I can say we have we can create multiple things in the database. So we call them as database artifacts. Artifacts. It can be a table, it can be a view, it can be a stored procedure, a function, and whatnot. There are a lot of different artifacts we will see, and table is one of them. Okay, so we can create these database artifacts using create command. If we do not want a table anymore, if we do not want a database artifact, then we can drop it using drop command. Then we have an alter statement. The alter statement is useful when when you want to change the structure of a database artifact. So I'll write it over here as well. Uh, this is used to create a database artifact. And then we have drop is used to remove, or I mean, you can get rid of anything, remove a database artifact. And then we have alter is used to change the existing structure of a database artifact. Okay. Now, over here we can see that sometimes we might also, so this alter command works only when there is a database artifacts which you want to change. We cannot use alter command first of all. So first of all, we have to create something, and then if we want to change it further, we have to use the alter command. The alter command is used to change the existing structure of a database artifact, right? Similarly, these are all data definition because we were defining things, we were either removing it or we were changing it. Similarly, we have something called as DML commands. DML stands for data manipulation language. These are all part of your SQL, okay? So these are not different languages, but all these are part of the SQL. The data manipulation language has commands like insert. So the data manipulation languages are used to manipulate the information which is inside of a database artifact. For example, in the table, if there is a table, if you want to create a table, then you will use this create command. But then if a table is created, then you want to insert some data into your table. For example, yesterday we had seen that we might need to create a table. So we will create a table, define its structure using create command. And then if we, for example, if you want to remove this column, then we will use the alter command. If we want to add a new column, then again we have to use the alter command. Now, once the table structure is ready, now we want to enter the data. Now we want to write the data into our table. If you want to enter this information or you are playing around with these details, then you have to use the data manipulation language. The data manipulation language manipulates the data which is stored inside of a table. We are going to manipulate the rows of a table. Okay. So now if you want to insert some new data into your table, you will use insert command. If you want to update the data or change the information within the rows or within a table, then we will use the update command. Similarly, we have delete to delete the information stored within a database artifact. Okay. There are I mean, additional DML commands like call, explain call, or log. I'll mention it here, but we are not going to cover it. They are not like very important for us as a data analyst because we want to focus on the data and analyzing it. Okay. So I'll still mention it over here, but I'll color it in the different color. And then we have this, we will see. Okay, this explain call is there. We have a log as well. So we will understand them, but not go into very detail. Okay. Now going next. What next we have? It is DQL. DQL is very important. Okay. So now, for example, I have saved or I have created a table. I have stored the data into that table. And now what I want to do is that I want to see the data. I want to see the data. For example, I want to see only these records, or I want to see a record which is having the maximum rating, or I want to see how many records are there in this table. For all those things, we are going to have DQL, which is data query language. This will help me to, this will tell me if I want to select a data from a table, how I am going to send the query to that. Okay. So DQL is only one. So under this, we have something called as, okay. So under this, we have only one thing, which is select, and this is going to be very important for us. Okay. We have to know how to write select statements. So as a data analyst, this is going to be most important for us. We should know how we will select a specific data which will answer our questions. Okay, so this is going to be most important for us. Okay, all are important, but this is going to be very important for us. Okay, then we have something called a DCL. DCL stands for Data Control Language. Okay, so data control language is helpful to decide who can access with table and who cannot access a table. Okay, so for example, I have all these tables, right? But I do not want to give, but I can decide who can access which table. I do not want to, for example, give access to all these different users. I just want to give access to this table. I can have that control who can access what and who cannot access what using a data control language. Inside of it, we have grant. So we have grant. So if you want to give an access to someone of something, you will use the grant command. And then if you want to take the control back from a user, we can use a revoke command. Okay. Then we also have something called as TCL. So just mentioning it over here so that we know what we are doing. So then TCL is transaction control language. The transaction control language is another set of commands which help us to control the transaction. So we will see this is an advanced thing. So that is why not going into very much detail. So there are some things like commit. There is something called as save point. There is something called as we have rollback. We have rollback, and then we have there is also something called as, I guess, constraints is also part of it. Okay, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So now these are all the things which we are going to see inside of SQL MySQL database. If you learn all these things in one database, then it is very easy for us to switch to another SQL database. For example, we have not just MySQL who supports SQL, we also have Microsoft SQL Server, we have Oracle, and even the great thing is that Snowflake Data Warehouse also follows the same pattern. So if we learn how to write SQL queries in MySQL, we can also do it very easily in Snowflake Data Warehouse as well. Okay. So, are we all good? Any questions? Okay, Abharthi, hi, good morning. Hi, Miyapan. Hi, Satish. Very good morning
Hi,
to all of you.
good
Yeah,
morning.
hi. Okay.
Hi, people.
Yeah,
What is
hi.
the difference between drop command and delete command? Both are, I mean, like,
Okay. So the create command is used to create a database
no, no,
artifacts.
no,
For
drop
ex
and delete.
drop and delete. Okay. This drop is used to drop the table, to drop a view,
Okay,
to create a structure of something. Whereas delete is used to delete the data inside of an artifact. Okay. So it is uh, used to remove the rows or records from a database artifact. For example, I have a database artifact. For example, if you have a table and inside of that table you have a lot of records, for example, and then you want to delete, let's say, this record. So this is what is going to be useful to use the delete command. Whereas drop is used to drop this entire table. If you drop something, it will remove the table and all the data with that table will be gone. Okay, so that is the main difference. So this TML, so if we look at the DDL correspond to, if I'll mention it over here, these commands correspond to what you can say, the database artifact, right? Whereas these commands are more importantly used for, these correspond to the data inside the artifact, inside data, the database artifact. Okay. Okay. And this is also specific to the data inside the database artifact. So now using DQL, we can answer a query, we can select the data inside a database artifact. So this is same thing which we mentioned above. So these commands is like this. And then finally, if we look at DCL, so now using DCL, drop this grant or revoke, we can control who can access which database artifact. So this corresponds to this one. So let me copy this. So DCL corresponds to the database artifacts and not to the data inside the database artifact. And then we have TCL, and then TCL are like you can think of like they associate to the data. Okay, so it can be very mixture of everything, but broadly they correspond to the data inside the database artifact. Okay, now we want to see how we can do all these things, and then very nicely we want to also do practical things. So let's do one thing. Let's install the MySQL and let's see what we are doing to do. Okay. So meanwhile, because it takes time, so while it is being installed, we will see what we are doing and why things are happening a certain way. Okay. So now what we want to is that we want to install the MySQL, and MySQL is one of the very, very popular RDBMS solution. Okay. Just like other databases, we have SQL Server, we have Oracle, we have a lot of different databases. Then we can download it, although it is not working for us right now, but we can download it from the MySQL store, from MySQL store, and then we can install it on our system. Okay. So now let us see what we were planning to do. Okay, so or what we are planning to do. So over here in the MySQL website, we will get MySQL. Okay, so for example, this is your laptop. Okay, in this laptop, what we are going to do is that we are going to install the MySQL, and for this, I'll create another box for MySQL, and then in this we will install something called as MySQL. Okay, then MySQL is a relational database solution, and then using this we can create multiple set of information and we can store all that information in this database. Okay, so now over here in the MySQL, so MySQL is a multi-tenant database solution, meaning that inside of one RDBMS, we can create not just one, but a lot of different databases. Okay, so we can have the database one. Different databases could have different terminologies. Some might call it as schemas or databases, but we will see that we can also say it like within a database, we can have multiple schema. So what is the use of schema very first place? So schema is something which will help us to segregate a related objects or related database artifacts together. For example, if you have a table with a specific requirement or a specific thing, for example, what I will do, let's say I want to create a set of database artifacts. In these artifacts, for example, I want to create artifacts associated to different things or different domains or different technologies. I might want to create a database. I want to keep the data, let's say, for shipping, which is going to store the shipping details, and then I want to also have create some store some tables which are going to be, for example, the which are going to store the billing details, the customer details. So over here we can see that in a database, because we might want to store different type of data or different type of artifacts, so over here we do not want to bundle everything in one place, right? We talked about in the SQL introduction that our main goal is always going to be not just putting a data and fill it with data in a database, but also we want to search things faster. We also want to store things optimally. So it is also a strategy to follow that. I want all the shipping related tables in one place. I want all the billing related tables in one place, and I want all the customer details in one place, so that everything is very well managed. For example, I will create schema sch underscore shipping to save all the data associated to shipping details. I will create another schema for the billing details. Who is billing what, whether the payment is done, whether the payment is not done. And then similarly, we have shipping underscore customer. Over here, I will create and store the customer data. The another advantage, the good advantage of this strategy is that we can have associated data related to each other in one place instead of filling a lot of data everywhere. Right. And then another advantage is that if someone wants to access the shipping data, I will give them access only to this schema and not to other schemas at all. If someone wants to work with the billing data, for example, I will give them access to the billing schema and not other schema at all. Okay. And then finally, for the customer, if I want to give someone the customer details, I will give them access to only the customer schema, but I will not give them any access to these schemas as well. Okay. So the schemas are useful to, you can say schemas are useful to manage the data properly. Where and another thing we can see that the schemas are useful to control the control the data access. Okay, so these are the most important thing which we can see, which is going to help us. Okay, so now we couldn't download the MySQL. That is something I will check again. One more try I want to give to MySQL downloads. And first of all, I will clean up everything from my downloads so that I do not have anything unnecessary over here. Okay, all set, all clean. And just making sure it is not installed on my system. So I'll also see if that is installed on my system or not. I will come here and let me search for MySQL, just making sure that nothing is there already. Let me install everything, uninstall everything, sorry. From here, let me see what all is left and then uninstall this one as well. Okay. And then this could be creating problems for me as well, right? There could be a problem due to these things. Okay, now the cleanup is done. I do not have anything associated to MySQL in my laptop. Let me also check in some places. So if I go to my C drive, and then if I go to programs and program files, let me see if I have MySQL. So no MySQL here, that's good. And over here, do I have MySQL? No MySQL as well. That's great. Okay. So cleanup is done. Let's try it again. What is wrong? Okay. We will be able to resolve it this time for sure. Okay, oh, what is this? Enter presentation. Okay, this is NDB cluster. We want the GPL downloads. Over here, we want the installer for Windows. We want let's take the final series as MySQL, MSI or zip archive installation. Okay, that's fine. Let's go to archive and let's take some other version of this MySQL. Okay, let's take just previous one. Okay, which was in January. Okay, let's take the signature first. Okay, download the signature. They are done. And then let's download this. This is perfect this time. Okay. So now we are on the track. So now it worked. That's great. So now from here, let us select what we want from here. Okay. So previously we had a lot of things, but right now we want everything. We do not want server only. We do not want client only. We do not want custom. So maybe previously when I was having issues, it could be signature issue and maybe some things was already installed on my system. Not sure, but now it is going to be perfect. Okay. So now we are going to install everything. We do not want only server. We do not just want client. It is better if we install everything on our system. Okay. So now let's select everything and we will go with full. So here we can see that what it installs as a part of that. So it is going to install all of the products available in the catalog. So we will get a MySQL server, which is an RDBMS server. We have the MySQL shell. So shell is very important. So it is a different way, another way to interact with your MySQL server. We get MySQL server router, which is also important. We get MySQL workbench, where we are going to access our MySQL database. So over here, if I mention over here in the diagram what these things are, so first of all, we are going to have the MySQL database. So first of all, before that, I drew the table. Okay, I already have that. So in the laptop, I'm going to install MySQL. With MySQL installation, I get this RDBMS, where this RDBMS, this is the MySQL server where you can see that. This is the server, it is writing over here. Okay. So MySQL server is the most important thing which is going to manage everything, and it will be created as a server. Then we have MySQL shell. So in your laptop, we also have the command prompt. This is the shell. So we can also access our MySQL server using the shell or command prompt. So we will see this thing as well. So using this shell is also in my laptop. So I can access my MySQL server through this shell as well. So this is the second component which will get installed as a part of it. And then we get MySQL router. So MySQL router is going to route the details in and out of the server. And then we get something called as MySQL Workbench. MySQL Workbench is an application or is a tool through which we will get an idea, or through this we will get to interact with the MySQL server. So MySQL Workbench Workbench is an application through which we will talk to our MySQL server. Okay, so we have one thing is MySQL Workbench. Okay, so views, yeah, I mean, what you can do if you want to access your MySQL server, we can do it either through Shell or through MySQL Workbench. But the good thing about MySQL Workbench is that it is very, very interactive, and it is having a GUI, a very nice GUI. So we have interactive GUI. So it is easier to use MySQL Workbench to access your MySQL server, but the shell is for advanced user. Using this, I mean, in terms of the power and capabilities, we can do both the things. We can access our MySQL server, we can create schemas, we can create tables, delete tables, drop tables, delete data, create data. Everything we can do through this way or this way. But the only major difference is that the shell is very less interactive, whereas the MySQL Workbench is going to be very interactive. In addition to that, we get the documentation. The documentation is also very important if you want to look at the multiple commands, how MySQL works, the internals of MySQL, how MySQL works. So for that, we can access the documentation. We have samples, examples, and more. We were previously getting only this thing. Okay. So now
And
let's go with the yeah.
sorry, people, like
Uh-huh.
I was just installing this 8.0.37, which is the latest one.
Uh-huh.
So I observed one problem here also.
Uh-huh.
Earlier,
Maybe the
like
latest
here,
one
we are
is
getting the option.
your
Sorry.
voice. So yeah, please continue.
Yeah, so here, like they are not giving all the options. Either
Right.
you can go with
All
Workbench or Cell.
right. So now this, I mean, maybe that new version is having some issues, so that is why it is working fine. Okay, so you can go with one lower version. That is also a problem with the latest releases. So if when we will go with Python, we will go with Python 3.9. We will not go with the latest and greatest Python. So there are some issues with the very latest thing. Maybe it is not fully ready. Could be any other issue. That is why it was not working now. Okay, so now we are all good. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to get all these things, even more. We do not want to know everything. So this is important enough for us. So we have a server where we will host everything. We need a workbench through which we can access a server, and we want shell again through which we can access the server, and we will have the different documentation. Okay. Now let's go. And that is why this full will give you. If you go with server, then it will just give you MySQL server. If you just want the front end client, then you will get shell, router, and the workbench. Okay. So that is why we want everything. Okay. So now here you can see that we are getting a server, we are getting workbench, shell, router, documentation, and this is the version. Okay. So everything is ready to install. The architecture is x64, 64-bit, and everything is ready to be installed. Okay. Let's execute this. So now, first of all, it will download and then it will install. And this diagram, which I just created, this diagram is going to be very helpful because in this laptop, so I'll also mention something. So what all we are going to do as a part, oh, this will not help. I need to increase the size, but everything will go. So let's see. Right now, we are just going with the installation of MySQL. So this is the MySQL server, and I can make it smaller. And this is the server, which has different things. And then this is one way to access my server. and then this is another way to access the server. Additionally, we are going to install multiple things. So going forward, we will see, we will install the we will install the Python over here. So just a very nice interpretation of what we are going into. Okay, so we will go with the Python version 3.9 something. Okay, so we will not go with the latest one. And then as a part of this course, we will see how we can, so first of all, we will see how we can interact with the server using these commands, using the SQL commands. And once we are done with that, then we will install Python in our system. And then we will see how we can access the MySQL database through the Python as well. So this is going to be very helpful for us. So we will be installing Python on our system. So just telling you what is the next two topics which we are going to discuss. So I'll make the arrow opposite because the Python is accessing the MySQL. So this thing we will also see how we can do this. Okay. So this is going to change a lot of things. This is going to make everything very programmatic. So previously what happened is that, so first of all, previously we used to develop an application and then it was very difficult to talk to a database. But using Python, it has become very easy to interact, to connect to, and send all these commands. So first of all, we will see how we can send all these SQL commands through the workbench, and then how we will see that we can also do all these things through a programming language Python. Okay, so everything is ready to be installed. So let's go here. So we are going to get these things, that's fine. And now let's TC TCP IP is fine, I guess this should be fine. Let's go to next. And then strong password is recommended. Yes, we will go with the strong password. And then let's provide a root password and the password. So now let us see what is going on right now. Okay, in the database, so I'll remove this. So every database will also have a set of users associated to it. Okay, so for example, if I want someone to access my server and to work with my MySQL server, I need to create the credentials. I need to create a user and I need to associate a password to this user as well. Okay. Now, what will happen if I create a user and for example, if I'm new to this MySQL, right? So this MySQL server is getting created. Then for the very first thing, I need a user who can work inside of this MySQL, who can create a database, who can create tables, who can create a lot of database artifacts. So now during installation, we are creating a root user. Okay, so the root user is the very first user which gets created in the MySQL database. This user is, you can say that the super user, and this user can do anything within this database server which we are just creating. So just be aware, this user which we are going to create, this user can do everything. So that is why do not give this password of the root user to anyone. Okay, so if someone knows the password, then it is very easy for them to go to your server and to play around with the anything, any details which are there. Okay. So now the root user is going to get created. The username is going to be root, but then we are going to give a password. Okay. So now any password you can give. So it should be secure, but because this is a local installation, this is fine because all those people who are going to access my laptop, they can access it. Okay.
Let's say if MySQL is not working,
Huh.
and
Then we
if
will go
we
with
are,
another.
yeah, so if you can tell us like which database we can go with, so that we will
Uh,
also try to.
this Postgre is also good. This is very good. This is open source, by the way. So people are moving from MySQL. Previously, MySQL was open source, and then it has been purchased by Oracle. Then people are also leaving this MySQL for Postgre. Postgre is very, very good. Okay. So similar concept apply over here. You just have to go to postgre.com, postgresql.com, and you can get it downloaded from here. I'll give a video where we will see how we can download it, how we can install it, and then we will get started with it. Okay. I think this is the best open source database right now. Okay. So a lot of people are liking it. Okay. Previously, MySQL was popular choice, but because that was open source, and now everyone is kind of moving to Postgre. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll give a video For the installation. If MySQL works, I'll give for that as well. If MySQL is not working, I'll also give a video where we can see how we can install the Postgre. Okay, because everything is going to be the same. Again, if we go to install the Postgre, it is going to also create a server. It is also going to create an interactive GUI for it. The names are going to be different, but the concept are going to be the same. Using Python, we can also access the Postgre server. We are again going to create a root user. So all these things which we have done so far, this will be applicable to any database which you are going to install. Okay, so Postgre is also a great choice. So I'll update everyone. So I'll ask the Datavision team to update all of you with these details, and we'll also share a video on YouTube. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. And apologies for this. I don't know uh, what happened to MySQL, why it is not like that. That's fine. Okay. Maybe we had to learn a new database. Okay.
And any info about the next class, Vipul?
Next class is tomorrow. Yeah. We are continuing with this, but the free trial, free classes are over today. We started on 27th. So we have one, two, sorry, one. The first class was on 27th, and uh, two, three, four, five. So today was the fifth session. So the free trial is going to be over. So the free sessions are going to be over. So from tomorrow we will start on head on to everything, and then we will start with the proper session. I mean, we were also having these as proper session, but then we will go into the actual application of things which we have learned through all these different days. Okay, so I hope to see you all tomorrow. I hope you all are enjoying. So, I mean, one more thing again, why I want to ask one more question again. Then, if everyone is not comfortable with 6:30 a.m., we can also change the time of this session to 7 a.m., 7:15 a.m., whatever works for everyone. Then we will be going with that time as well. Okay, so the time is, if anyone is having an issue with this specific time, we can go with some other time as well. Okay. Okay, so I hope everything was perfect. We learned everything. We learned a lot of things, and we enjoyed these sessions. So we will continue learning these sessions, and we will start our journey, and we will be a good data analyst. So this is our promise that whatever we know that you all are giving your time, you are giving your time is also money, right? It is not about just money. So you all are giving your time of your busy schedule. You are also working on your organization, so this is our responsibility, I understand, to give us the best knowledge possible. So that is why I'm here to help you all. And then if so, we will not just be learning these things. We will also be discussing what the different people are doing, what are these different projects we will do. We will understand different data pipelines. We will also see what the interview question as well. So every week we will have a round of discussion, interview questions, and the different assignments, so that we all are on the same page and nobody is lagging behind. Okay. And you might have seen from these sessions previously that we do not have any assumption in our mind. So we don't think that, okay, whosoever is coming over here should know about tables, should know about SQL, should know about a row, should know how to install things. So we will do everything together. If we face an issue, we will solve it together as well, right? We all are future data engineers, right? So we are going to work on the issues. We are going to face issues. We will solve them. We will work on them together. You are going to learn from me. I am also going to learn things from you. So that is why I'm also already excited, because during these sessions, I also learn new things, new perspective, everything. Someone shares new things with us as well. Okay. So this course is going to be somewhere around 3.5 months to 4 months maximum. We will learn really, really interesting, great tools, and they are going to be very helpful. We will go start from very scratch. So if you see, this is where we started SQL from, right? So we started from everything, what a database is, what a data warehouse is, and then we understood what all different type of databases we have, and then we saw that what is OLTP, what is OLAP. We saw an example of what is a table, how we can, I mean, how all the tables are related, and then we started seeing that what is MySQL and what all are the different commands we can use in a SQL database, and then what the database components are. Okay. So we will go step by step. We will understand everything. I am having zero assumption in my mind. I'm saying that, okay, every person should be comfortable and everyone should know these things. So maybe as an expert, I want experts to be comfortable in this session, and a new person who is wanting to switch their careers to be comfortable in these sessions. Okay. So that is why. Sometimes, if required, we can also extend the session if someone has a problem. So, I mean, we are going to be comfortable. We want everyone to be comfortable because you are already giving a lot of time to us. You are giving your hard-earned money. So, it is our responsibility to make sure that at the end of this course, you also have a good career. Okay. So, we are not going to kind of do everything in a hurry. We all are experts over here. We also have multiple experts from the Datavision team. So we all will be there for your resume preparation as well. You might have attended session for the LinkedIn as well. So we keep on creating those sessions so that it is helpful for everyone. And we want all of us to grow together and be a good and also create an impact to the world and solve the problems which are ahead in the market. Okay. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining again. I am really grateful that you all joined for such an early session. So that is why I'm asking if someone has having any issues with the timing, then please let us know. If you need any specific details, any more details, and then please let me know for the other things. If you want to know about the price of the course, if you want to know any other thing associated with the course, then you can contact the KSR Data Vision. So for that, what you have to do, you can search for the Data Vision. Okay, this one. So if you search it, okay, so over here we can see. Okay. So this is their website. So you can come here. You can also get for a career guidance. You can also get their contact number. So you can contact them over here. And then you can get this number as well. Okay. So you can call this number. The two numbers. This is the first number and this is the second number. You can also drop a email to us. You can also follow us on different channels. And you can also drop a query from here. You can also have a chat. So there are a lot of things. So I hope it was all good and you are now ready to explore the different database, data warehouse, cloud technologies, and big data technologies together in one place, in one roof. And thank you so much. Again, have a great day. Hope to see you all in
Yeah,
the future.
Vipul.
Yes, Kemjay.
Yeah, Vipul. I have two questions. One is like, are we going to build pipeline through Snowflake as well as through AWS, right?
Yes, all the pipelines. So, for example, we will see how we can. So, we will have different pipelines of the data migration pipelines. For example, if there is a person who is using MySQL or any other on-premise database, they want to migrate their data to Snowflake data warehouse. That pipeline, we will see what all different ways we can do that. We can do it using Python, how we can do it using Python, how we can do it using PySpark, how we can do it using files, and then we will also see how we can create data pipelines for AWS. For example, if you want to install your MySQL in EC2, and then over there, so there are a lot of very interesting things we have to share. Okay, so not just about one tool, we will also see how different tools together, how you can use Python to schedule your data, how you can use Python to do a lot of stuff. Okay, so it is going to be very interesting. I can't tell you right now. There are a
Okay,
lot
and
of possibilities over
second
there.
thing,
Yeah,
Vipul,
second
like
question.
I was, as the AWS is the oldest cloud technologies.
Uh-huh.
So in Naukri, like number of job openings should be higher in
Yeah.
comparison to other cloud.
That
But
is
I can see,
for AWS it is high right now because it is more easy. So that is why the freshers are going for that Azure right now. So this market will keep on shifting. One more thing I'll tell you, I was having a conversation with my friend who is working on AML. He was saying in the AML people are preferring GCP. So this market
okay,
shift is always going to happen. So that is why we will learn one tough thing. So if just in case we also have this Azure session for KSR. So what you can do, you can learn AWS from here. You can learn all these things from here. And from tomorrow or going forward from next 2, 3 months later, you also want to upgrade to one more cloud services. You can also have session just on the Azure as well. Okay. So we are all sorted. You can also jump between multiple sessions. So all these things you can check with the KSR team. Okay. So this thing you also have so that you can learn Azure from there, and then you can learn Python, SQL, and I mean, you can learn these things from here. And if you want to go to Azure, you can learn
because
Azure as
I Vipul, I just wanted to understand and know, like if I learn this AWS Snowflakes this course,
well. Okay.
then I shouldn't go anywhere regarding this AWS and Snowflake, right?
No, no,
Because
not
this
at
will
all.
be the ultimate thing, and I'm
We
going to
will be
learn each
covering
and everything.
everything, each and everything. So that is why we do not have like we will cover everything in this time. So we just want to cover each and everything from ground up to advanced level. So that is why we also keep sharing. I will also be keep sharing videos on YouTube so that we all are up to date. So that is why we are giving our full commitment. I promise that I will give my full commitment. You do not have to go anywhere. But again, in return, I also want the full commitment from all of you as well. Okay. I also want you all to be very interesting, to be excited every day when you come here. We learn something. You ask your questions, you ask the doubts. Maybe if you talk to your friends in the organization, you discuss with them, okay, this is what I'm learning. Where should I go? Or you can also discuss with your peers whether this course is good for you. So I hope we all go with these kind of mindset mentality, and these for sure, which I can tell you is that these things are going to grow with time. Okay, we are not going to see that the Spark will not work. The Snowflake data warehouse here you can see, right? It is 10 years old. It started as a data warehouse, right? So now you can also create your apps, you can deploy your apps, you can have the security. There is something called as Snowflake Cortex. There are a lot of new features which are coming in Snowflake data warehouse. So Snowflake data warehouse, Snowpark, SQL, Python, these are very versatile tools, right? So there are two things. Either you focus on the tools or you focus on the technology. Oh, sorry, tools or the technologies. Okay. So over here, we are focusing on both the things, right? So as a tool, we are focusing on Snowflake Data Warehouse, MySQL, and Snowpark, and Python is also there. Sorry. So that is not a tool, sorry. So for a tool, we have MySQL, we have Snowflake Data Warehouse. But as a technology, we will also understand how the database technology works, how data warehouse, how cloud technology work, so that once you know the technology, and even if for tomorrow you will have to work on a separate tool, you can also be very comfortable to move over there as well. Okay. So Python is used in a lot of places. You have Python in DBT, you have Python. Using Python, we can also create, there is also front end tools we can use Python. You can use EDA, IDA in case if tomorrow you want to upskill to a data scientist career. Python is going to help in there as well, because if you have a strong Python experience in a core Python, you know how to manipulate the data. Then going to data scientist level is also very easy, because you know how the basic thing works, how these things connectivity works, how I actually create these things, how I can create a robust Python code which is well tested and well maintained, and how what always I can deploy my Python app, how I can write a Python code and deploy it to AWS, that we will also see. How I can write a big data program and deploy it to Snowflake Data Warehouse. How I can deploy big data code to EMR. So there is a lot of exciting things I cannot stop talking about. So that is why I have to stop. So we will see a lot of things. Okay, so we want you to be interview ready. We will give interview tips. We give the resume support. Until unless you do not get a good job, we will also not stop working hard. Okay, so that is our goal. Okay. And for sure, this is one stop shop, it's one spot shop. You will get all the details over here. In case if there is any additional thing where we might want you to look up, so we will provide that guidance as well. Okay, there is something new. Let's explore this. So, or we will give a video on that. So all these things we will do.
Yeah, yeah. Because my intention was, asking that question, like
Mhm.
whenever we are learning certain things and going to the market for a job.
Uh-huh.
So let's say like at least we can showcase 4 to 5 years of
Exactly.
experience.
So for that, we will be doing all these pipelines. So whatever pipelines we will be doing, all those pipelines you can also mention in your resume. So you will be confident, because if you know the basics, you know multiple ways to solve a problem, you can mention that as a project. So for example, if you are showing that for example, if a person comes to me and he tells me that I have 4 years of experience, then I should expect he should have worked on at least three projects for now, right? And should be able to solve the problem. So whatever projects we will be doing, we will also be mentioning it in our resume, so that we can confidently go out in the market and show our expertise as well. Okay. So that is why we also have the resume support, resume building, so that when you go out to the market, you have the knowledge, you have the skill, you have the confidence, and not just that, you also have the resume ready for that as well.
Understood, Bipul. Thank you so much for the
No
clarification.
issue. No issues. No issues. I mean, I'm also happy that you're asking questions. I really like when I have questions. It makes me feel like, okay, they are getting in sync with what I'm saying, right? Okay, so we have Mahesh, Prem Chand, Miyappan, MGR, Priyanka. Hi, Priyanka. Hi, Raghunath. Hello, Venkatraj. Hi, Yogesh. So anyone has any questions, you can ask me.
People, like, as part of your video, you can say, like, is any account to be created also in terms of using these databases, or what it is going to be,
But
and
this is all,
what is a free
all
trial
free.
version date
Yeah.
still? Because
Yeah.
sometimes few gets expired, right? Pretty
Yes.
fast.
Yeah. For Snowflake Data Warehouse, it's like 30 days, so we do not get anything apart from 30 days. So for that, what we will do, we will keep everything in one place. We will keep our SQL queries intact in some place. We will back it up on the cloud or some other place so that in case if it goes away, we can again recreate everything in very quick time as well. For AWS, we have very long time duration, which we get. Again, for the Python is again free of cost, so we can install it in our system, use it for lifetime. So that is why we have also chosen tools and technologies which we can use for a very long time. Similarly, for MySQL, you can, if it get installed correctly, we can use it for, you can say for the rest of the lifetime as well. Okay, so that is why we
No,
can.
Bipul. Actually, there is some issue. I tried with the
Uh-huh.
older version as well, but
Uh-huh.
that is
MySQL.
there is some issue with MySQL. Yes.
Right, right. I can also sense
For me,
that.
it's
Because even I install
perfectly fine.
SQL so many times for my work
Yeah, I have
purpose.
also done it multiple times. This is the
Yeah.
very first time I have seen these kind of issues. Not a problem, not a problem. We will go with the Postgre. Okay, not a problem. Same things. Okay.
I think
Okay, Vipul.
Yes, Premchand.
problem is with the laptop, or I'm like,
I will restart my laptop. That is what I am saying, that I will restart my
yeah.
laptop. I will start doing it again. So, and if it works that time, then I'll for sure share a video for my sequel. But if still I have tried multiple version and if they do not work, I will go with some other database. Okay. And for that, I will surely share a video for that. I mean, of course, there could be an issue with the laptop because I could be anything, right? So we have to solve this issue somehow.
No, but I just installed SQL Server and that got
Uh-huh.
installed. That is running,
Oh,
that is up and running.
okay. That's
I
great.
just tried that whether that is happening or not, but that happened.
Mhm. Okay, that's
So
great.
I
That's
don't
fine.
know.
That's fine. Let me check. Maybe there could be an issue with my laptop. Not sure. I'll check it. Okay. Okay, so Venkatraj, Yogesh, Raghunath, Priyankas. Hi, hello, can you hear me? Are you there? MGR. Okay. Okay, then thank you so much. Please feel free to ask any question if you have in the group. You can connect to KSR Datavision. So we are going to get into very exciting sessions from tomorrow. The previous one were also exciting, but they were very basic sessions. We have laid the foundation, and now we will go ahead with the practical implementation of we just everything we just talked about. Okay. Have a great day. Thank you so much for your time and your efforts,
Yes.
and I really appreciate that. Let's connect on tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you, Vipul.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a great day. Thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for your
your
time.
time.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Bye bye. Have a good day.